Paul, how does an architect charge for their services, and what does that include?
It's a good question. It's a question I get asked all the time. There's various ways. Most architects are quite flexible. There's various ways to charge for the service. Typically, architects will charge as a percentage of the overall cost of the project, but sometimes they will charge for their time, or they'll negotiate a set fee. Again, typically the service will include designing the project, documenting the project, and then looking after the project on site on your behalf. Now, I'm an architect. I went to university for 5 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm a little biased towards people should choose an architect and work with an architect. And the advantage of working with an architect is you've got a professional that's experienced and trained in design. So you're going to end up with a bespoke house that's designed for you and for that site. When real estate agents go to sell a house, adding architect design adds a lot to the value of the property, and it's because the design is bespoke. The architect takes a brief from you and purpose designs a house. Typically, we can break that down into 3 stages. It's designing the project, which is taking a brief from the client, investigating the site, doing a lot of sketches, a lot of consulting with the client, and then coming up with a design we're happy with. And then that needs an approval from the council, a development approval from the council. The second stage is to document the project. So that is to prepare the project to be built. So that requires dimension drawings, schedules, and all the detail that it takes to build the project. And the better that is documented, the better result you're going to get. It'll work out less expensive for you because there's no ambiguity to the project. Everything's been selected, and the builder can price it accurately, and it can be built the way you want it built, and in a shorter time frame because all the information is there. The builder's not waiting for information. And typically that service is charged, most likely we charge as a percentage for that service of the overall cost, and broken down into those different stages. Another way is to charge for your time, and that might be agreeing to prepare some sketches at an hourly rate or for a set fee. So how much might a percentage fee be for, let's say, a luxury home, perhaps $5 million in construction value? What could someone expect the percentage fee to be? Okay, again, depending on the architect's experience, that percentage would be for a full service of designing, documenting, and contract administration would be somewhere between 10 to 15%. Okay. So, and that's typically broken down to about 3% for the design, 4% for the documentation, and 3% for the contract administration. Okay, great. And then you mentioned also some architects might do it for a lump sum. So how would that work? Sure, and again, based on your experience and on previous projects, an architect might work out a lump sum for those 3 services. But I would work as a gauge. I would consider those percentages that I've just mentioned as a gauge for a negotiated lump sum fee. Okay. And one last question, Paul. I've come across over time a lot of projects where architects are involved in only a certain stage, say the concept stage, and then they're not involved after that. The concept is given to a builder, for example, and then it's left to the builder to document or build it as they go. What's your experience with that? It's commonly asked, and I understand that people think the best value from the architect is the first stage, is the design. I think the design doesn't stop. So when you're doing that, what I call documentation, where you're working out details, working out construction details, helping the client with their selections and the cabinet work and the floor finishes, all the finishes through there, I think it's still good value to have an architect involved. But for some people, and if they've got a builder on board, that process of design only it's fine.